get started. The first thing we will do will be the bag itself. And in order to do that, you're gonna make 2 tubes. One tube created by your 46 or 48 pin knitting machine, either an Addy or a Centro. And you will be making, well, you're gonna start with a waste yarn. Okay, any contrasting color waste yarn would work. You're gonna make 4 rows or 5 rows, I'm sorry, or whatever you're comfortable with. And then you switch to your main yarn or your working yarn, and you're gonna make 120 rows. Okay, so 5 rows of waste yarn, 120 rows of your working or your main yarn, and then end it with another 5 rows of your waste yarn. Okay, and then we'll close it later. All right, set this aside. And the next tube that you will be using will be made by either your I-cord maker, which is the egg for the Addy. There are other types of cord maker either by Prim. There's so many brands actually, but you can always use your Centro or Addy 22 knitting machine, 22 pin. I will add a video tutorial created by another YouTuber on how to do that with your Addy or your 22 pin machines. The only difference is if you use the bigger machines and not an I-cord maker, it will be a little thinner than this, because it's only made up of 3 stitches per row. This is made of 6 stitches per row, I believe. So it's double the thickness. Okay. All right. So let's start with the main part of the bag. So after you've created your main tube, the big tube, you are gonna flatten it out and make sure that the sides are on the same column. I'm sorry. All right, so when you sew them together, it will be straight and not crooked. Okay, so for the first thing that you need to do is to close this end. Okay, and the way to do that, you can either crochet the end or saw the end. Okay, I'm back with my crochet hook. So you can either use a hook size 4mm or 5mm. It really it's not that big of a deal as long as it's not so big and not so small. So the way you do this, after you've flattened the panel or the tube, you're gonna take the first 2 stitches, the one opposite each other, and then pull 1 stitch through the other, and then turn your work and then grab the one on the left side, the next stitch on the left side. And what you're really working on is the last row of stitches of your working yarn, and that's why we used waste yarn, so you could see it better. Okay, so make sure you don't use the same color waste yarn as compared to your working yarn. Okay, better contrast is better. Okay, so where are we? Let's do this again. Sorry about that. So find all the last stitches of your working yarn, and then as you fold it to the side, take the first opposing pair, put your hook through both, pull 1 stitch into the other, and then continue with the opposite side, the next stitch, pull it through the other stitch, then continue pulling stitches through 1 stitch of the from the opposite side. Okay, so left, pull through, and then right. I hope you can see this. Oh my goodness, hang on. Okay, so we're on the right side. I keep turning my work, I'm sorry. Pull through, and then the left, pull through, again go back to the right, pull through. So this is what it's gonna look like as you close it. Okay, here we go. So let's say this is the where you fold the tube. You're gonna grab the last two opposing stitch, or the first I should say. Put your needle through both of them, pull the yarn, and then go to the next two opposing one. This is actually easier as compared to the crochet. You may want to use the same color as your working yarn, of course. I'm just using this waste yarn just so you could see it better, okay? So just continue doing that until you reach the end. All right, so that's how your stitch would look like. Okay guys, so I'm at the end of closing this one in. I just want to show you how to lock your stitches when you're done closing it. So what I do is, after I pull the last stitch through, I take the tail of the working yarn over and pull through that last stitch, okay, and then pull through all the way, and that would be your lock. Okay, and then now you can do is take off your waste yarn. Okay, so after removing your waste yarn, make sure that there aren't any drop stitches, and then you can just hide the remaining yarn tail. Okay, and then we just cut it. All right, so the next step is to fold. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, is to fold this in half. You're gonna keep this top part open, okay, because that will be the opening of your bag. So now you have to align both sides right here, because this time we're gonna sew them together. Okay, all right, so what you need to do is grab your yarn needle, use the same yarn that you used for the bag, and then we can start. To be sure that we're gonna close this properly, we're gonna start from the top of the bag. Okay, we're gonna start joining from the top. So what you need to do is just grab one stitch from one side and one stitch from the other. And then what I do is just make a couple of knots on this end, and then I'll hide the tail of this end after I finish sewing the entire side. Okay, couple of, all right. So we continue sewing it. Make sure you take the stitch from the same column. Okay, make sure you take the same the stitches from the same column. Okay, that way you will have a straight sewing here, or connection, or attachment. Okay, as you can see, it's already showing like a pattern. Let me show you again closely here. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna choose the column that you want to use. So I use this column for this side, and then I use this column for this side. So I'm going to continue taking stitches from that column opposing stitches, okay? And then pull your yarn through, not too tight, just enough to approximate both stitches, okay? All right. Now take the next one, next pair, then pull your yarn. Oopsie. Okay. Again, take from the same column. With this particular yarn that I use, it's a nice color, it's a nice pattern, but it's kind of hard to see sometimes, the stitches. My husband said it looks like crocodile skin. So if you think this, you feel the same way, you feel free to change the color, okay? I just thought that this would be a good contrast to the yellow yarn that I'll be using for the chick itself. Okay, so you just continue till you get to the end, all right? Okay, let me pause this. Okay, so now we've closed each side of the bag by sewing. And all you need to do now is hide your yarn tails, okay? Just weave it through the side. And don't forget, we're gonna keep this top part open, okay? Because that's the only opening for the bag. Again, use your yarn needle and just weave through the side of the bag. All right, that will be our bag. Well, it's just the pouch. Now we're gonna attach the I-cord that we created with our I-cord maker or your 22-pin knitting machine. So, oh, I forgot to tell you the measurement of this shoulder strap. Hang on. So, as I have mentioned, these are made for kids. But if you want maybe a younger teenager or a young adult to use this, you can always increase the length depending on the size of the person using it. So it's about 37 inches, 36 and a half to be exact. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so I left this long yarn tail at the end of each strap so I can use them to attach each end to the bag or to the pouch. So we're just simply gonna attach them on each side of the pouch. Okay, you can attach maybe from the inside. Okay, so attach the strap on the inside, maybe an inch of the strap on the inside of the bag on each side. Okay, so to make sure that this is firmly attached, you want to create sort of an X. Okay, it might show a little bit of stitches on the outside, but that's fine. We're using the same color anyway. There you go. So I'm making an X on the inside. Really doesn't matter how you attach it or how you sew it, as long as it's firmly attached. Yep. The only reason why I created an X is just so it will cover all the sides or all the corners of the strap on the inside of the bag. Okay, and I also want to make sure that it's attached through both layers of the bag, so it doesn't just pull the center of or the inside layer of the bag when you carry it on your shoulder. Okay, so after you do a couple of layers of those rounds of the excess, you can lock your stitches on the inside of the bag. I'm just trying to saw the sides a little bit. Oh my goodness, I just realized I'm not even on the camera frame. So sorry. So just to recap, I'll show you again the other side, okay? Okay, so we're done on this side. So on the outside, this is how it would look like. I mean, it doesn't even show the stitches that we made. Oh, even on the inside, it's hard to see it. Okay, so now we flatten the strap a little bit because this is a thick strap. And then we position the other end on the other side, top part of the opening of the bag. And then we use the yarn tail to sew it. Just make sure, again, I just want to repeat what I said earlier. You want to make sure that the strap is attached through both layers of the pouch itself, okay? Make sure this is flat, okay. By sewing through both layers, it will prevent it from pulling just the inside of the bag when you're carrying it on your shoulder, especially when you have something heavy inside the bag. Okay, so I'm creating my X again on the inside of the bag, of the strap, inside of the bag as well. Okay, doesn't have to be a perfect X. What you really just want to accomplish is making sure that the strap is firmly attached to the bag. Okay, especially if you're planning on carrying anything heavy inside the bag. Okay, so that's the X, and then I just want to close the stitches by sewing the end of the strap onto the bag, just on the inside of the bag. Just kind of a reinforcement. And lock it a couple of times. And then we hide our yarn tail. Okay. Alrighty. We're done with the easiest part of this project, the bag itself. Or a shoulder pouch. How do you call it? Sling bag? Shoulder sling bag? It's cute. There you go. So the bag itself, let me measure it again. Where did I put you? The bag itself is about 10 by almost 7 inches. Okay, I'm gonna set the bag aside. Show it to you. Okay, pretty. Got enough space in there. Okay, you have the strap, hopefully long enough for whoever's gonna use it, a kid. Okay, and now we move on to creating the stuffed animal that would go in the front of the bag. Okay, all right, let's set this aside. Okie dokie. So again, we will be creating a few tubes. First tube is the head of the chick. I use my 46 pin. You can also use your 48 knitting machine. And I made, let's see here. I made 32 rows, I believe. Okay, so we made 32, we will be making 32 rows for the head, no waste yarn, just a plain tube. And then I made 20 rows for the body, so the body will be a bit quite smaller than the head. And then for the wings, I made 12 rows for each wing. So that's two tubes for the wings, of course. And for the, do you call them feet? What do you call them? Chicken feet? Yeah, feet. Right. Same thing. 12 rows on each for each feet, okay? You know what? I forgot to make the beak. So I plan on creating, let's see here. So this is 12. Yeah. 12. Also make a 12 row tube for the beak with a darker yellow, whatever's listed on our material list, okay? I believe it's dark yellow, or maybe orange yellow, I can't remember. So that will be the beak, 12 rows, okay? All right, so let's start with the head. Always keep the bag close to you because it's easier to create all of this while measuring the stuffed animal close to the bag, okay? Okay, same way we close the ends. For all those people who has been making dolls and stuffed animals, you know how to do this by now. No magic trick, just simple stitches. It's okay if you want to keep this flat because it'll all change once we attach it to the bag. Okay, we close that end, lock your stitches, and then hide your yarn tail. Okie dokie. Let's hide it. Okay, and cut the remaining tail. This would be the bottom of the head, okay? And then for the top of the head, I want to make this a little cuter. So before closing this, let me pause this, hang on. Okay, I'm back. So what I need to do is grab or cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 strings of the yellow yarn that you use for the head, and then tie them together, okay, with one end shorter than the other side. And what I want you to do is insert the shorter end inside the tube head, okay, with the loop inside, okay. This will just serve as a chick hair. A little bit of chick hair. Okay, so once you've inserted the loop inside, I want you to cinch that end. There you go. That's so cute. As tight as you can, and it's not going to get pulled because you have that loop, remember? And then what I want you to do is use this yarn tail. Okay, this yarn tail, and close the end. And you can also sew through the loop of the hair strands to keep it in place, okay? Just go front to back, back to front, just to keep that bundle of hair in place, and at the same time close this end of the tube. Okay. All right, so now you want to position it in front just to see how it would look like. So what we're gonna do to make it this a little bulky is you're gonna put stuffing underneath, okay, like this. So it would look like that, okay? But before I do that, we want to create the face first, okay? So what I need for you to have are your plastic doll eyes. Okay, I believe these are 15 millimeters each. So they're pretty big compared to the regular ones. You can also use buttons, or you can embroider them, or you can use those patches that they sell on Etsy. Too many options. Whatever you have at home, use your creativity, okay? So the reason why I keep doing this is because it helps me picture where I should put the eyes and the mouth. So what I'm gonna do here is, since I feel like this is a good position for it, is just use a pin to temporarily attach it to the bag. A pin or a needle would work, just on the sides. Wait, hang on. Hang on. Now, be careful later on when we try to attach the stuffy onto the bag. Be careful not to sew it through all 4 layers of the bag, okay? Because you want the space in there. Okay, so I just attach it temporarily with pins on the side, or needles on the side. Now we can try to estimate where we're gonna put the eyes, the beak, and the nose, or in the mouth, sorry. Hang on. Okay, so now that we position the head temporarily onto the bag, let's work on the beak. So remember, you're going to be using your 22 pin to create this tube. Actually use the color varsity yellow from what's the name of the brand? What's the brand? Big Twist Value from Joann's store. Of course, you can use a different shade of yellow, just darker, or sometimes people use orange for the duck beak. So to make the beak, what you want to do is cinch each end as much as you can, okay? Fold it in half lengthwise. And then what you want to do, because you're going to position it this way, okay? Because that will be the beak, the mouth, okay? So what you want to do is close this end. Actually, you're going to close both ends, okay? Wait, same way you did the other side. No particular way. Just make sure you lock your stitches at the end. Okay. Oh, it's a duck goose. All right. So after you've closed each end, I think I'm gonna have you hide one tail, and then cut it so it's no longer in our way. Whoopsie, what just happened? My lights turned off. There you go. Alright. So let me cut this end so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, now leave this one yarn tail so we could use it later to sew the mouth or the beak onto the head. So again, with a needle or a pin, you can just temporarily attach this onto the head. And the reason why I'm not permanently attaching him right away is because I want to make sure that it's centered or positioned right. Okay, I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. And we can shape it better later as we sew it onto the head, okay? At least now we have a head. Now we are going to position the eyes. Aw. So I would align it with the corners of the mouth. So it's going to be around here. And if I count it, okay, there you go. So it will be about, let's see, actually it's aligned to the top part of the beak, and then also align it to the corners of the beak. Okay, and then when you're done with that, we can gently take the head off the bag. We've already secured our beak temporarily onto the head, and now we can secure the eyes because we already got the position that we want it to be in. Only if I could find the other. Oh, here we go. I got it. There you go. There. So now, while we're not connected to the bag yet, we can now connect this. So we pretty much just put the beak at the center of the head, just to make it easier for you. Okay, so now I get to attach the mouth permanently. So what I would do is start from the side, using the yarn tail that we left there, and then just sew it through the inside, going on a straight line until you reach the other end. If you have other techniques that you're more comfortable with, use it. This is just my technique. Oh, so cute. There. Oh my goodness. It's amazing what you could do with these machines. Oh my goodness. It's a cutie pie. If you want it smaller, the mouth or the beak, you can always pull the tail of your yarn, since you did a running stitch across it. Okay, when you're satisfied with the shape, then you lock your stitches. Okay, actually, to make it neater, I would lock it on the back of the head. Hide everything in the back of the head. So cutie. All right, lock it. Okay, done. All right, now it's time to attach the head to the bag. Make sure you hide all your stuffings underneath the head. Create the shape that you want. It can talk. Now, if you feel like this is too big for you, of course you can change it. Okay, you can just use lesser rows, or even use a different machine to make it smaller. at least this will give you an idea on how to shape things, how to attach things. So I'm still putting pin or needles just to temporarily position it so that it'll be easier for me to sew it onto the back. Again, make sure you don't sew it all through the 4 layers of the bag. All right, so we have the head ready to be sewn to it. So cute. All right, so we'll continue to attach that later. Let's move on to the body. So far, we're finished with the head. And excuse my mess here. I have a big table, but then I have so much stuff as well. Can you see it already? So cute. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. So for the body, again, you cinch the ends as much as you can. Okay, we're not going to use any more stuffing for these. So what you just want to do after cinching it, of course, we want to close the ends. I'm running out of needle here. Give me a second. Okay. So for the body, we close the ends after stitching it as much as you can. Cinch, cinch, cinch. So. Do the same for the other side, okay? And then what you want to do is from the back. This will be the back, right? See how it's curling up after you close the ends? Oh, let me close this end too. And then we'll cut the what happened to all my needles? Goodness. If you're hearing a background music, that's because my husband is watching TV. And I cannot stop him from doing it. Okay, so I'm closing this end. Close and hide. Close and hide. Close and hide. I should not get tired of that phrase. Okay. Hide your yarn tail. Then we can cut that end. And then, as you can see, after we close each end, it's curling up already like that. So this will be the back part, okay? What I want you to do is just flatten it like that. Okay, and then sew the edges together for the back, okay? So the front will look like this. Okay, it should look like that. So that way we don't have to put any more, we don't need to put any more stuffing in because it's bulky enough already. So no particular way of closing it, just regular hemming stitches. This will be in the back anyway, so as long as they're sewn, the edges are sewn together, then they're fine. Okie dokie. Oh, sorry, just hit the camera. All right, then we lock our stitches. Okay, so this is the shape that we've created. This will be the body, okay? So right there, that will go underneath there. Oh, let's see. Yep. I'm just trying to see which side is, or which end is better to be. Really doesn't matter. They both look the same, I guess. All right, so it's gonna be like that for the body. It'll look better once we've attached everything. Okay. All right. So for the wings, I started with the wings before we do the legs, okay? Simplest part are the wings. So all you need to do is cinch the ends. Okay, cinch the ends as much as you can. Close them. Hide your yarn tail and then attach them on each side, just like that. Okay? All right. Simple, right? Okay, I haven't attached this, but I temporarily positioned it with the needle. Okay. Okay, for the final part of the chick, I created this shape out of the 12-row tube that we made. So this is 1 foot, and you're going to attach it on each side. I'll show you how to create this shape. There. Oops, too far to the side, maybe. Okay. So for the other foot, what you just need to do is, again, cinch each end, then close it by sewing. Okay. And then once you've closed each end, hide one here and cut it. Get it out of the way. And then close the other end. So once you've closed this other end, the way to make the shape of the foot is almost like making a flower. You just create your indentations this way, okay? So from this side, from the bottom, you just wrap wrap one. You're gonna divide it into 3 spaces, okay? So one here. Keep the shape in place by sewing it. And then you're gonna make the second one. So I'm just estimating the size. I'm not really measuring. Doesn't have to be completely perfect or even. Okay, so you're gonna wrap. All right, so that's 2, actually 3 already. And then we're just gonna continue shaping it. Okay, what happened there? What happened? Why is this giving me a hard time? Uh-oh. Okay. So far we have 3. And what you want to do, I don't know what happened here. Somehow it got tangled. There you go. Okay, so now we have 3. 1, 2, 3. And you just wanna, these 2 together, attach them. Actually, all 3 to the top. Just to create that triangular triad shape. I don't know why this keeps acting up on me. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening here. There. So we got our 3 puffies. So now we're gonna attach it right here. Okay. I'm gonna make this a little tighter just to give it a little bit more puff. There you go. All right, I think that should be good enough. And we're gonna attach it right there. You're only gonna attach it to the body, not to the bag, okay? All right. So now that everything's in position, we can now take the body off the bag gently, and now you can permanently sew the wings and the feet to the body. Okay, either you do this first or attach the head to the bag, your choice. Okay, all right, I'll be back when everything is done. So I decided to attach the head first. Okay, so the way you do it, you're just gonna sew the head onto the bag using the yellow yarn that you use for the head, doing blind stitches. Okay, so you just sew the edges to the first, only to the first 2 layers of the bag, or the first layer, as long as you don't attach it to all 4 layers or even 3, because you won't be able to use this bag if that happens. You won't have the space to put stuff in. Okay, so you're just gonna continue doing this all the way around until it is firmly attached. It helps to put your hand inside the bag if that's more comfortable for you, to make sure you don't go beyond the 2 layers like this. Okay, distribute the stuffing here a little bit better. Okay, so we just go on. I'm gonna remove this now. Okay, you can do blind stitches or whatever stitch you're comfortable with, as long as you can attach the head onto the bag without showing so much of your stitches on the outside of the bag. It really won't show no matter what you do, because you're using, as long as you use the same color yarn. Okay. Okay, so let me pause it right here and I'll come back when the whole head is attached. Okay. Okay, now we're done attaching the head to the bag. Okay. All right. I mean, the important part also is to make sure that your stuffings are not coming out of the head. Okay. All right. Next part, there's only actually one more part, because what we did, let me set this aside for now, because remember we already temporarily attached the rest of the parts. So let's just attach all of them together, and then we're gonna attach the entire body to the bag. Okay. All right. All right, now that we've attached the wings and the feet onto the body, we're ready to attach the entire body onto the bag under the head. All right, make this a little tight here. So again, it would help if you use a pin or a needle to just temporarily attach your body to the bag.